All right. Hello again, adventures, and welcome. Another exciting daily vlog. This is the daily vlog number, well, I say 93 at this point. That sounds about right. So, today, slight, slight bummer. You know how I said we were able to save all of the carpet because we shop vaced and everything? Well, there was one spot on the carpet that apparently we left some moisture in and it started turning real funky. So now there's like a 1 foot by 3 foot chunk of the floor in my room that is just uh, concrete. But now that we've gotten that out, I think we are okay. I checked the wall that it was right in the next to make sure that there's nothing wrong there. And as far as I can tell, it looks fine. I've cleaned it as much as I can. I don't want to have to cut into the drywall because I don't know how any of that shit works. I don't build houses or refurbish them. I barely live in them. This is not fun. So yeah, I am really sick of this and want it to be over. And yeah, on slightly happier news ish, um, Dungeons and Dragons Online is a game that I play that I really enjoy. It's an MMO, if you hadn't guessed, and has been around for like 15 or 20 years at this point. It's been around forever. And this year they're having a big celebration thing. I'm gonna see if I can even remember it. What it's called? I think they're calling it the Year of the Dragon, or something like this. But anyway, there's a bunch of free shit that gets getting handed out all year. Like each month, there's a new free thing. Like this month, you get a short quest line for free. It's like 3 quests that you can do. So that's pretty cool. Last month, you got a new. So in D&D on the line, it uses a heavily modified version of the 3.5 rule set. And so when you're building your character, you pick your race, you pick your class, and then you go through kind of the normal D&D character building. You start off with a 27 point buy, and you can eventually unlock a 32 point buy system for your character stats. Or you can just pay for it. It's heavily monetized, which is less than fun, but the game itself is free. And then there are certain classes that have like special versions of those classes. And so last month, there was a special version of the fighter called the Dragon Warrior. So it's a fighter. It's basically like a fighter subclass, but things work a little bit differently. Kind of like if you remember in second edition, they had these things called character kits, where what it was, or class kits, and what it was effectively, you would, like if you wanted to play a shadow dancer instead of a rogue or a thief, I can't remember what they were called in second edition. It would change, like it would remove a few of the abilities from the rogue and replace them with different ones. One of those being Shadow Step and a couple other cool things. But it also would change like your sneak attack progression and stuff like that. They were very cool. It's kind of a similar thing with these specialized classes. And so, yeah, I've been having fun with D&D on Little Line. I have a Warforged Artificer that uses a repeating crossbow. And he absolutely myrtleizes everything in that game. He even has an ability that lets him just stop reloading for like 5 seconds. So for 5 seconds, he just basically has a machine gun and mows down everybody. And then he's got like explodey bolts, and then lightning explodey bolts, and then acid bolts. Like it's lots of fun. one of these days I want to get someone to actually play D&D Online with me, like see how far we can get, because the weird thing about the D&D Online is, unlike most MMOs where the end game for the MMO is, you know, raiding and trying to get the best gear possible and blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff, in D&D Online the end game is reincarnating your character so that you can level it all over again. And when you reincarnate your character, you basically get to build it again from scratch. But whatever class or race you were when you reincarnated it gives you a permanent bonus, depending on the class or the race and which version of reincarnation you do. So, yeah, it's interesting in the fact that there are constantly people playing basically all the content. If it's good content, people are constantly playing it, because even quote-unquote high-level players, once you hit max level, it's not that you can't do anything at max level. There's raids and all those other cool things. But generally what people do is they get to max level and then they reincarnate so that they can get those static bonuses. And it's an interesting system, and they have a lot of really good stuff in there. Like, they have modules based on the one that I'm playing with my artificer right now. Is they have a Ravenloft module in there, and it is, I think it came out the same time that Curse of Strahd came out for 5th edition, and I've read Curse of Strahd. I've run bits of Curse of Strahd. I know it remarkably well. The adventure that you play in D&D Online is a digital version of Curse of Strahd. Like, it's so brilliant and beautifully done. It starts off with Death House, which I've personally... Death House is the introduction adventure, or the introductory adventure, because Curse of Strahd technically starts at level 3, and Death House was originally a free adventure that was given to local game stores as basically as advertising for Curse of Strahd. And the adventure itself is amazing. It's a great introductory adventure. It drips with kind of that gothic horror vibe to that Curse of Strahd has, and you can play the entire adventure in D&D Online. And yeah, like it blew my mind with just how faithful a recreation it was. And yeah, it's really phenomenal. They also have the Temple of Elemental Evil in there, and I've run that quite a few different times, and it's a really, really phenomenal version of that. They've got Ghosts of Saltmarsh that you can play through. Now, I believe all of those require you to actually purchase them, except I think Temple of Elemental Evil might be something that if you're a VIP, I think you get access to it. But the rest of them, you do have to purchase it. But for the amount of times that I have played through each one of those adventures and just had an absolute blast every single time, like, it is one of my favorite MMOs ever. And the only reason I don't absolutely adore it is I have a big 4K TV that I play all my games on because it makes it easier on my eyes. And in order to play it in 4K or on my TV, I have to actually change the resolution in Windows down to 1920 by 1080 because it can't scale up to... Well, it can, but everything is super, super tiny, and it doesn't have a way to scale the UI. So the UI becomes basically worthless, and you can't read anything, and you can't really do anything because everything is super tiny. So I have to sit here and go through this song and dance of getting everything to work the way I want it to, and it's a nightmare. But yeah, it's super, super fun. So one of these days, I'm going to con one of my friends into starting a character and at least going through... Oh, they have, what is it? Keep on the Borderlands. They have that entire series, which is super, super fun. I'm gonna con one of my friends into doing it, so we'll start some characters. Maybe I'll record it, maybe I won't, but maybe I'll stream it or something. Anyway, that's all for me today. I am so exhausted right now. Hopefully tomorrow will be more fun. Anyway, it's all for me today. See you guys tomorrow. All right, bye bye.